Now, the Raiders are once again going to be a young team. Maybe they'll be more exciting. They drafted some wide receivers, and perhaps another year under their belt under John Gruden's system makes them a little bit more interesting or sophisticated running the offense, etc. But they are not one of the best teams in football.
Right.
And they are stuffed down our throats in prime time. And I think that the league overestimates, as you said, what we think is interesting. Frankly, I think there's one stadium that you watch a game because it's at that stadium in the NFL, Lambeau. I don't think there's any other game that you tune in because it's at that stadium. The Patriots have been incredibly good for an incredibly long time. Nobody ever said, I need to watch a game at Gillette Stadium when it's on TV. Heinz Field, it's a great stadium. I've been there for games. Nobody ever says, I've got to see Heinz Field. Even Dallas, Jerry World. It's, I'm sure, an amazing experience in person. You've been there.
Yeah, it's
but
great.
Nobody says, I've got to watch this Cowboys game because it's at Jerry World. The Falcons probably have the best stadium in football. And again, nobody says, get the Falcons on prime time. I got to see Mercedes-Benz. There's really no site. People might say Soldier Field, but I don't even think Soldier Field is the draw that Lambeau is. Lambeau's the draw. And you say, well, the Packers might not be good. They might be out of it, but I want to see a game at Lambeau. I'll watch this on TV. Mostly that's because of weather. I mean, yes, Lambeau in October is gorgeous, but if the Packers are out of it late in the season, you'll watch a Packer home game because it might snow, frozen tundra. You have that type of lore around it. If the Packers are on the road and they're bad, you don't watch those games. You're like, okay, fine, the Packers are on the road. There's one stadium draw in the NFL. Different in baseball. I think people watch Yankee Stadium because it's Yankee Stadium. They would watch a Cubs game because of Wrigley, Fenway, and Dodger Stadium. Those are some obvious. You watch the game, you put them on, and you enjoy the sight because of the stadium. It doesn't happen to the NFL. Once we see one Vegas game, it's going to be like all the others. You could have sold me that Raider games in Oakland were good TV because of the black hole. But what happens if there's a sanitized black hole, which it sounds like it's going to be? What happens if, there's a guy with the spiky shoulder pads, but there's no other guy around him. He's just like in the family section. is that great of an aesthetic? Is that great
you're
of a
in the
vision?
black hole?
I mean, I think they're totally overestimating why we watch football. If the Raiders are good, no question, they're interesting. If they're good, John Gruden's really interesting, no question. But they would be interesting then on the road. 5 times I got to see the Raiders at home because they're opening up a new stadium? I mean, are we doing this with the Chargers because they're opening up in SoFi in L.A.? No. The Chargers don't get 5 primetime games at home because they're not that interesting, because the site of where new stadiums aren't that interesting in the NFL, and I can't imagine the black hole is that interesting in sanitized Las Vegas to need 5 home games.